A century ago, women were hardly known to be architects, but when two women in Fort Wayne first began to break barriers in the career field, popularity in their designs exploded.
And as you're about to see, they had a major impact right here in 21 country.
There's a lot of similarities between the homes, but every home is unique in its own way.
It's crazy to think over the last 100+ years what all has happened in here, and the history that's been made, and that we get to own a piece of history.
It's super family-oriented.
Homes in the idyllic South Wayne Historic District remain appealing today, more than 100 years after they were built. As a woman in the early 1900s, Joel Roberts Ninde defied the social expectations of her time and began designing homes with the help of her husband. Because of her unique style, success came quickly.
Other people saw it and they loved it, and it ended up getting bought out from underneath them. So she designed and they built another one. Same thing happened. These houses were different from either the mansions that well-to-do people had been living in, or the very plain and unappealing kind of worker home.
Connie Haas-Zuber leads Arch, which helps protect the city's oldest properties and the stories behind them.
Her interest and ability and salesmanship and understanding of what kind of homes were the right homes for the times matched perfectly with the marketplace here, and whoosh, it took off.
Ninde's husband Lee recognized her talent and quit his job, launching the Wildwood Builders Company in 1910.
It was that much of an explosion of interest, and the topic of Mrs. Ninde houses became a thing in Fort Wayne.
Ninde began working closely with fellow female architect and trailblazer Grace Crosby.
The time that she was alive and working was the time when suffragettes were active in many spheres of life. Because she was lucky enough to have a husband who supported her and who built a company to support her in her work, she got to express, her creative abilities and to see them come to life on the landscape in ways a lot of other women who undoubtedly had skills did not.
In just a few years, both women and Ninde's husband designed and built hundreds of homes. Their work known nationwide through their own publication, Wildwood Magazine. One article in which described the homes as a house of convenience. Beth Stutzman took us inside.
This is probably one of our favorite rooms in the winter, especially. It's a wood-burning fireplace, so we love using that. It's so cozy, obviously original. This was probably what sold us, was this large grand staircase. Again, just kind of cosmetic stuff in here, trying to keep with the style of the home, which is also my style, so it kind of works out.
That Gerardot lives in a house built after Ninde's untimely death in 1916, but her design aesthetic remains.
And as soon as we walked in, we fell in love with it and knew right away we wanted to buy it. In about 3 steps, you can be in about every room on the first floor, which is really cool.
So too does a legacy that will last long beyond the homes she helped build.
You can just go around and think stylistically. When you see, when I see a Dutch colonial house, I think of her. When I see side porches, I think of her. When I see stucco, I think of her in that era of houses, because those are her trademarks.
I grew up in a world where if I wanted to be an architect, I never thought twice about it, which is amazing because it's because of women like that.
I'm Krista Miller, reporting in 21 Country.
Now, Jill Park, the homeowner you just heard from, just moved out of her home on Wildwood Avenue. It's a home Ninde herself once lived in.
And you can find more information on Joel Roberts Ninde and the work that ARC does on our website. That's WPTA21.com.